Thanks for joining us here on Indivisible. I'm your host, John Stubbins. We are thrilled to have you with us tonight, America. This is the show where we put God, family, and country first, and we will always tell you the truth because it matters, and you need to know the truth. You're being lied to out there, and it's really sad if you're watching mainstream media, which I hope you're not. We're going to be talking about the state of Kentucky congressional race today with Eric Deters, who's running against Thomas Massie, who's been an incumbent there for 12 years and pretty much gotten nothing done. So let's see if we can get that changed and get you to get out there and vote, which is most important. And with that in mind, I want to acknowledge Hunter Nation, and not only Hunter Nation, but Hunt the Vote. Make sure that you're getting out there and voting. It's important and it's your right. Don't leave it to dry. We'll take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Here's to the overlooked, the overworked, the underappreciated. Here's to the fighters to preserve our freedom, our liberty, our rights, our faith. Here's to the workers, the farmers, the first responders, and those who serve so bravely in our military. Here's to Americans who proudly hold tight to our values: God, privacy, freedom of speech, life and liberty. Here's to the patriots who love this country and everything it stands for, who should never be canceled for believing in America and the blessings of liberty. Finally, there's a bank for you, Old Glory Bank, named after the flag that represents the fabric of this great country and the people of Old Glory Nation, the engine of America. Now you have a bank that values your values. Now you have a bank that stands with you, no matter where you stand. Old Glory Bank. We stand with you.
Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
Indivisible with John Stubbins is proud to support my friends Jim and Angela Holland and Set Apart Farms.
Faith-led and family-driven, we're doing things a better way for veterans and their families. For all the ways to get involved, go to setapartfarms.org.
And thanks for joining us this evening, folks. Look, this is, we're in a tumultuous time. And whether it's the border or military or schools, taxes, inflation, what's happening overseas, there's so much going on. It's hard to keep track of everything, but we have to. So, our neighbor bordering state, Kentucky, has its own set of issues. And I want to bring on my friend now, Eric Deters. He's running for congressional seat in District 4 out of Kentucky to become a congressman there. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing great, John. Thanks for having me. I love your haircut.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's light and trim, and it's easy to deal with, brother.
That's right.
Look, I'm going to scroll your information at the bottom of the screen so folks can reach out to you, follow your campaign, go to your website, etc., follow you on social media. I know that you're running against Thomas Massie. He is the incumbent Republican there in your district. And I thought we'd start off the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself so the audience can get to know you and maybe talk a little bit about Massie and what Massie is not getting done.
I appreciate that. If you go to ericdeters.com, you can find out all about me. But in a nutshell, I have a pretty interesting background that consists of a blend of law, media, and business. So I was a radio talk show host that backed up Bill Cunningham. You've probably heard of him, all the way up to Columbus on 700 WLW for 4 or 5 years. So I did a radio show for about 5 years on WLW radio, did some other smaller stations. In addition to that, I was an attorney for about 25 years until I retired. One of the reasons why I had to retire was this massive legal battle that we had against a Dr. Atiq Durrani, who did unnecessary spine surgeries. And I wrote a book about it. It's an amazing story. It's called The Butcher of Pakistan. I've written 4 books. I also had a business background with a family corporation where we had Wendy's, convenience stores, real estate, until I sold my interest 3 years ago. So I have a very diverse background that I think that I have a lot of skills that I could bring to Congress to accomplish things that are not getting accomplished by our current congressman. Thomas Massie is the classic smart aleck. He thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. He's an MIT graduate. He's kind of creepy, to be candid with you. He belongs to an organization called Dismay, where they swear boys to secrecy. It's just a weird organization. They call him dad. But he is considered a liberty, far right-wing kind of guy. But the problem is he also votes no. He didn't support Trump's border wall. He hasn't supported Israel. He just does a do nothing. And, I'm MAGA all the way, Trump all the way. So I want to go into Congress and solve problems.
Well, that's what we need right now, isn't it? We need people who not only can solve problems, but can actually get it done.
Right.
And get it done completely, because, we're dealing with all kinds of different issues, as I said, kind of at the top. In this race, first of all, how long has Massie been the incumbent?
A dozen years. He's been there
a dozen years.
Yep.
A dozen years. And what has Massie accomplished for the state of Kentucky?
Absolutely. And I know people say, oh, really? Come on, there must have been something. Absolutely nothing. I've actually put it out there, John. I've said, somebody tell me one thing that he's done. He was famous. Trump called him a third-rate grandstander and wanted him kicked out of the Republican Party. He's the guy that made all the congressmen come back to Washington for that COVID relief vote in person.
I remember that.
Yeah, remember that? That's what that sent Trump into orbit. They needed that relief, and he made everybody do that. See, he's really cute. That's why he voted against the wall, John. He said the wall was unconstitutional. I mean, he voted for the construction of the wall, the emergency funding. He voted against all of it.
I know those types, and those type of people, they're living in fairy tale land.
Right.
They obviously don't understand what the word sovereignty means, right?
Correct. I'm still blown away, John. I don't know about you, but I'm just so disheartened that the Republicans did not impeach Joe Biden for what's going on the border. I mean, it's his number one job. I personally think it is treason what's happened at this border.
It's high treason.
Yeah, and they don't do it. And they go after Mayorkas, and I'm like, well, why did you go after Joe Biden? It just makes no sense to me.
Well, look, I don't want to get into my thoughts on that, because my thoughts on that, everybody knows already pretty much that as far as I'm concerned, it is high treason. And not only is it high treason, but it's the kind of situation, because of all the different, let's call them distractions, okay? But all the different distractions that have occurred since Obama, not just Biden, but Obama,
right.
with the green energy incentives and the weatherization program, and that's what they use to start stealing taxpayer dollars, right? That's
right.
Just the tip of the iceberg. Then there's the Russia hoax, and how we got into all of this. There's all these different tentacles, okay? I look at it as a big squid, a big octopus, and every tentacle on this octopus is another distraction. It's another lie. It's another fabricated story. I mean, what about Hunter Biden? I mean, Hunter Biden, that whole fiasco, which includes Joe Biden, that in itself, by itself, is high treason.
Right. No doubt
just
about
by
it.
itself.
No doubt about it.
Not even including the border,
right,
or what they've done to our military or our schools or this indoctrination. That's not America. You know it, and I know it.
John, one of the things that nobody talks about the Trump presidency is look what we found out thanks to Trump beating Hillary Clinton and being president. Think of all that we would have never known about if Trump didn't win, particularly the Department of Justice. I mean, the exposure of what's going on is incredible. And it's scary, John. It's just plain flat out scary. What we witnessed last night with Joe Biden, I find scary as hell.
Well, and look, and we've talked about this many times. There's also things that we still haven't discovered.
Right.
Like for instance, okay, my friend General Flynn, when General Flynn was brought in, he was going to start getting to work. They got him out quick. And the reason they got rid of him out as fast as they could is because he was going to conduct an audit, which would have amounted to a criminal audit, to justify criminal charges, sealed indictments being unsealed, military tribunals possibly is the way we would have needed to go because of the level of the treason. Okay. Think about all the things that Obama did that General Flynn wasn't able to discover. Look,
right.
Take a minute and think about that.
We're going to
take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with Eric Deters.
By now, you've all heard me talk about Mike and his great products. Well, guess what? Mike's now introduced his MyPillow My Slippers, which are fantastic. Great on my feet, soft as can be. I love them. Mike's taken over 2 years to develop these slippers. He's designed them to wear indoor or outdoor all day, all night long. Made with MyPillow foam and impact gel to help prevent fatigue. Made with quality leather suede. For a limited time, Mike is offering 40% off his new My Slippers. The My Slippers are so comfortable, you're going to want to get them for the whole family. Go to mypillow.com and click on the radio listener square and use promo code Indivisible. You'll also get deep discounts on all MyPillow products, including the Giza Dream bed sheets, the MyPillow mattress topper, and MyPillow towel sets. Or call 1-800-716-4639 and enter Indivisible as your promo code.
Hunter Nation is the ultimate we the people in the conservation community, holding our elected employees accountable to the hunting, fishing, trapping, freedom lifestyle that has brought wildlife back to the healthiest and most thriving condition in our lifetime. HunterNation.org is the epicenter for freedom and wildlife conservation in America. I am Hunter Nation.
The Isaac Law Firm, protecting men and family court.
And we are back with Eric Deters. Eric, look, there's so much that we can get into. I know you talked about Trump and MAGA, and you're being a supporter. I am as well. And a little bit about your race. Let's talk about the southern border. The southern border obviously is the top issue, dealing with our sovereignty, dealing with, look, Dr. Peter Pry, God rest his soul, he died last year. He was the probably foremost expert on, EMP attacks and, nuclear attacks, attacks to our water supply, our electrical grid, all these different facets of security, national security. And he died, Dr. Pry. God, like I said, God rest his soul. What a great American patriot. But We haven't forgotten that. And we haven't forgotten our discussions about that. And the reason I bring it up is because, a lot of people look at the border as just an issue where there's, people coming in from Mexico or, South America. You and I know that it's over 109, at least 109 different countries that are represented that have been processed at that border. This does not include gotaways. Okay. And I bring this up because of the hard work of my friend Jason Jones and Tom Homan that we work with through Border 911, exposing this. And look, a lot of these people are from the Middle East, and it only takes one EMP attack. It only takes one or two electrical grids being taken out. People don't understand. I guess that the common person out there, they don't understand the ramifications of what can happen when you don't have protected borders, number one. And by the way, all these countries that we're talking about, they all have borders.
That's right.
Everybody but us, right?
That's right.
So, and I talk about the gotaways because a lot of these gotaways are going to be the people that are going to end up doing the bad stuff eventually. We don't know when that day is going to be, but there are sleeper cells here. We know that. And the damage to the American people is really unknown at this moment. But because of what I know about these different variations of ways that we can be attacked, it's extremely scary. What do you see in your district or in the state of Kentucky? How many illegals are coming into your state?
They're coming into our state and Ohio, Cincinnati, because we're right across from Cincinnati.
Sure.
Just like every other state. What's scary about it, as you know, is there's so many. They're not tracked. You don't know who they are. And to follow up on your point, John, people forget this. 9/11 involved 3 airplanes crashing. What was the ramification of our economy when they shut down all air travel for 3 days? For 3 days, it crashed. So if somebody gets a hold of the grid, the electric supply, water supply, another 9/11, they blow up a state. Government's reaction to that is going to crash things. For example, we are now experiencing government screws up everything. The COVID, all those people that went home. Now we're going to have a commercial real estate crash in this country because the downtown properties aren't filled with workers. And that's all as a result of COVID. Government always screws it up, except a problem solver like Donald Trump. He's the only guy that, I'm 60 years old, John. He came in, he said, I'm going to do all these things. He either did them all or tried to do them all. He's the only guy that's ever done that. And this border, if you remember, the border was his issue. And, the fact that Joe Biden, this is typical Democrats, isn't it, John? They're paying the contracts off of the people who are supposed to be building the wall because they were legally bound to pay the contracts, but they're not building the wall.
Yeah, well, and on top of that, all those supplies that were already pre-bought, they're just sitting there on the ground.
Right. I mean, it's enough to drive you crazy. Nothing they do. And I think, John, we probably agree on this. It's all on purpose. The destruction of America began with the election of Barack Obama. Yep. Barack Obama wanted to bring America. Dinesh D'Souza, my friend, does such a great job. And by the way, I was honored to have Tom Homan speak at an event that I had. He's
a brother. Tom's a brother. We love him.
Yeah, the intentional destruction of America to bring us down to size. And boy, are we paying the price for it.
Yeah, and you bring up Tom, you bring up Dinesh. Both have been on my show, and I just had Tom at our event over at Trump National back in November. We had Dinesh on actually that same week.
Two brilliant people.
Oh yeah, and we were covering police state. It's very disturbing. Okay, but thank God that there's people out here like you and I and many others that are putting our foot down and saying, we're not going to do this. Right. We're not going to do this. Let me ask you this, Eric. What are your constituents saying on the ground? What, aside from the border issue, what's most important to them right now? Is it this economy? Is it the inflation that we're dealing with? Is it our schools, their kids, their grandkids? What are you hearing?
It's inflation. I mean, you know, rank and file Americans all across the country, including Northern Kentucky, the 4th Congressional District, from both ends. It's inflation. And what's wild about the inflation issue is you have the Fed saying, and they just say the old tradition was you increase interest rates to drive down inflation, and it didn't work. The reason why it didn't work is because all the supply chains that triggered all the inflation. Now you got Yellen saying that, you know, these high prices are probably here to stay forever. It's amazing. So everything they do, they just screw it up. And I hate to be contrite and say all of the above, but this country is in such a wreck under this administration. It's all those issues. It's education. It's the health care. I'm kind of an expert on corporate health care fraud based upon my work on that case. There's just so much that's wrong. But, you know, inflation hits everybody every single day. And then you got the higher interest rates, which hit everybody every single day. So, you know, they always say it's about the economy, but I think it's economy, national security combined, because it really scares the hell out of everybody. And what they've done to education, John, as you know, is just off the charts.
Yeah, well, and that kind of brings me to my final point, at least for today. We'll have you back. Dealing with Israel and what's happening in the Middle East right now, in Iran, with all these proxies going after Israel, of course. Where do you see that ending up?
Well, I think that the events of the kidnapping of Hamas in Israel, I think that gave Israel the precedent to say it's time to end this. And I don't see Israel stopping until it's ended. And, you know, everybody worries about the war expanding. I don't want the war to expand. Nobody wants the war to expand. But we have an administration. I think I stay, you know, it's so sad. Those 3 military personnel that died in their sleep. When I think about the fact that we have to get hit 166 times, that's Iran declaring war on us, right. 166 times, including a sovereign country, Jordan. Our base gets hit in Jordan, and this president doesn't do squat. Well, and then the whole Iranian deal. I mean, think about that, John. People forget this. Obama giving him the pallets of cash his last day of office. This Iranian nuclear deal, which is a joke. I
mean, it's all on us. It's on the taxpayers' back.
We pay the price for it.
Meanwhile, they let in all these illegals and continue to just flood the zone with people who haven't paid any taxes here. It's absurd. Look, Eric, God bless you, brother. We're thrilled to have you on the show today, and like to have you back so that you can come back and update us on how the race is going. When's your primary?
May 7th.
May 7th.
3 months away.
Let's have you back so that you can update us, and we're going to be endorsing you and thrilled to do so.
John, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
God bless you, brother.
God bless you, and God bless Trump.
We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
The Isaac Law Firm, protecting men and family court.
Indivisible with John Stubbins is proud to support my friends Jim and Angela Holland and Set Apart Farms.
Faith-led and family-driven, we're doing things a better way for veterans and their families. For all the ways to get involved, go to setapartfarms.org.
What a great show tonight, folks. I'm glad that you were able to join us. Look, this is the moment that counts. Again, we need you to get out there and vote, because that's what's going to make the difference. Not just for us, but for you, your family. That's what matters. Look, Kentucky, it's time for a change. Thomas Massie has to go. Eric Deters is the guy you need to be voting for in District 4. Hope you'll get out there and do that quickly this fall. Don't hesitate. Also, I want to just touch on something. Again, we tell you, go to johnstubbins.com, where you can donate, and not only donate, but you can also look at everything that we're doing, not only with our documentary, but our events. We've got a big announcement coming up, and I've been wanting to give that to you. You have no idea for a couple months now, but we've had some delays with technical issues, but a big announcement is coming up soon. So God bless you. God bless your families, and God bless America. We'll see you next week.
Fans up in this house tonight. Well, here's a burning thing, and it's me, fire rain. Well, bound, sir, I feel the enduring of fire. Y'all be sick of me, into the burning fire. Ring of fire. Y'all see the telephone. Let me hear it. Sit down. You'll see what is sweet. And hearts like ours beat. I feel for it like a child. Oh, and fire the wild. Here we go. This is our country. Do not forget who you are. Do not forget what your DNA is as an American. Do not forget it for one damn second. We stand on the shoulders of greats, and we're the next great set of shoulders. Can I get a hell yeah out of this crowd one time? Here's some Charlie Daniels. As alone, I get up in the morning, get down in the afternoon. Kinda like my old blue check count, I like a dead round in a shade. And I ain't got no money, but I damn sure got it paid. And I ain't asking nobody for nothing if I can't get it on my own. If you don't like the way I'm living, say just you think I'm bad, 'cause I'm breathing free at last, and you're still stuck behind your mask, and I'm offended. You're offended. Yeah, let's all get offended tonight. I'll order us a beer, we can sit down right here, screaming, yelling, cussing, fussing, fine. into the room, passing out $100 bills and the kills and the drill, like a horns on my Silverado grill. High by the bar, triple around the crowd, everybody's getting down in that town. It ain't never gonna be the same, y'all see it. I started up the road, I made a lot of noise, I would go down to the track. Riding up the down the way, I would still be more. And the girl said, say all the smack down for it. If tomorrow all the things were gone, I've worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause our flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the